Hey guys, Kris here from the YouTube channel Sabrosa. Today I wanted to talk about crystal magic, and I wanted to share with you some of the crystals from my collection. One of the ways that I like to use crystals is in crystal grids. Here's an example of a crystal grid, and this one's made out of wood. I have some that are made out of paper. This crystal grid has Metatron's cube, and around it has the platonic solids, and I have crystals here that are in the shape of the platonic solids. And in the center I put this pyramid that I got from my friend Jay as a gift. I got this crystal grid from the Fossil Cartel in downtown Portland. So that's one example of a crystal grid. Here's another example of a crystal grid, and this is in the shape of a flower of life pattern. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a class last week, and the class dealt with crystals and the throat chakra. And so when I came home from my class, I put together this crystal grid, and I envisioned cleansing my chakra, my throat chakra, with every time I put down a stone on the grid. Then I visualized this and said, so mote it be. And I like to use candles when I'm doing crystal magic. So that's one way that you could use a crystal grid. And another way to use a crystal grid could be like manifestation. So every time you put down a crystal, you could say, I will get this job, or I will get that new house or that new car or whatever. So that could also be for manifestation as well. And also visualization. So that's another example of a crystal grid. And that's the flower of life. Most of my favorite crystals have been gifts. This crystal skull was a gift from my friend Tess. And this Lemurian crystal was a gift from my friend Laura. It's very beautiful. Probably my most powerful crystal is this Lemurian crystal. A very thoughtful gift. It was given to me by my friend Laura, who is really a stranger and had been following me on Instagram and liked my photos, and sent me a message and said, I want to send you a crystal. And when she sent me the crystal, I was just blown away by how powerful that crystal is and how beautiful it is too. It's pretty amazing. Another really great gift I got is from my friend Sean and Jeliza, and this is a piece of hematite, and you can see that it's volcanic hematite in this really neat pattern. And then on the inside, it's hard to see, but it's actually a hole inside. And the hole inside is completely geometric. It's really, really very cool. I forget what this one is called, but this was a gift from my friend Samantha. It's this really neat green and brown colors and stripes, and I like to carry this one around with me. One of my favorite crystals is called cinnabar. Here's an example of what cinnabar looks like. This is a red cinnabar crystal, and it's growing on a white dolomite. Cinnabar is really amazing stuff. Cinnabar is how we get liquid mercury. So here's another piece of the cinnabar. So they take liquid mercury and they put it in a open flame, or in a rotary furnace, basically a fire with oxygen, and the liquid mercury literally will sweat out of the cracks of the cinnabar and the cinnabar ore. I have a beautiful pendant that I wear. I found this on eBay, and this is a cinnabar pendant. This comes from the Horse Heaven mine here in Oregon, and that's a mercury mine that was only in operation in the 1940s and the early 50s. So it's a really cool vintage piece, and I'm really lucky to have it. It's a pretty cool piece of Oregon history, and it looks really nice. And I got a really great story. The person that sold it to me, her father had worked in the mine, so she told me this really amazing story about the mine, and she sent me these different articles and stuff about her dad, and it was really cool. And she said her dad had passed on, and she said that she was so happy that she'd found a place to send the necklace and these articles and stuff, and that she felt like her dad would want me to have it. So that really was very kind, and it's really a great experience. So mercury in alchemy is one of the tria prima, or the three essentials, and another one of the three essentials is sulfur. So mercury, sulfur, and salt. And here I have a couple pieces of sulfur. This is just a regular piece of sulfur here. It's pure sulfur. Not sometimes you'll get a matrix with sulfur crystals in it, but this is a piece of pure sulfur, and one could grind this up. This is actually flammable, so they call it brimstone. Pretty neat, and it's very, very soft, and so if you carry it around in your pocket, it could get broken, especially a piece like this. I think this one actually did get broken. This is actually a byproduct from manufacturing fuel, and it's pretty amazing, but it's pure sulfur. So the tria prima of Paracelsus and of alchemy is mercury, sulfur, and salt. So I have the mercury represented by the cinnabar, and the sulfur represented by this sulfur here, and to represent the salt, I have this piece of pink Himalayan salt. I've kind of rinsed it off a few times, and you could actually take a grinder and use this on your food if you wanted to. If you probably want to wash off the fingerprints, but that's a pretty neat piece. And one piece that I love carrying around with me in my pocket is this really neat matrix piece. It's got a couple different crystals coming out. Let's see if I can show you a little bit better here. Yeah, this is really neat. It looks really great in the sunlight. It's one of my favorite crystals, and it kind of stands up by itself too. It's really neat. This is a small selenite wand, and this was a gift from my friend Courtney. And these are really, really neat. And this is one that I like to carry around in my crystal bag. I also like to keep a piece of tiger's eye. And that's pretty common. You can get that at pretty much any rock store. I like to carry silver, as in like my silver ring, and my necklace is set in silver, and I also like to carry a little piece of copper, and this is a little piece of float copper. The ancient alchemists believed that the 7 days of the week corresponded to the 7 planets and to the 7 metals, and so silver would correspond to the moon or Monday, and copper would correspond to Venus or Friday. There's a little piece of copper. And when it gets dull, I just take a little piece of Brillo pad and clean it off. This is a really neat one. This is an Agudal meteorite. So this is a meteorite that comes from space. So that's pretty awesome. And just even a tiny meteorite like this costs a few bucks. So they're kind of expensive, but they're really neat to have. That's an iron meteorite, and it's almost pure iron. And so you can take a magnet, and you can... and it's definitely affected by a magnet. I recently got this little tiny piece of turquoise, and it has little tiny cubes of pyrite, and I have a microscope, and when you look at these little tiny cubes, it's just amazing. I'll post a couple of pictures of that on my Instagram if you're following me. My Instagram is @KrisandFrancis. And here's a bigger piece of pyrite, fool's gold, and it sparkles in the sun really awesome. this is one of my most powerful stones, and this is called Moldavite. Moldavite comes from the area of Prague, and it's a Tektite. So what happened was a meteorite hit the earth, and it hit the earth, and it burned the earth, and it combined the material that was in the meteorite with the burning earth, and both of these materials were burned and went up into the atmosphere as a gas. They cooled off in the atmosphere and came back down as a glass. So something like Libyan desert glass, where they find glass out in the desert, there was a similar situation where there was a meteor impact that was so hot that it burned the earth, and the meteor itself vaporized them into a gas, and when they fell back to earth, they fell as a glass. So Libyan desert glass is a clear color, and Moldavite is this amazing green color, and comes from the area of Prague. There's speculation that the dirt or the soil in that area is so rich in the materia prima, or the prime material, that it turned the Tektite a green color. This is a black Tektite, and this comes from China. I also got this at the Fossil Cartel. This looks a little bit like the Death Star, and it's really amazing. If you hold it up in the sunlight, it's a little bit translucent around the edges, so it's probably a very, very dark green color. And here's a piece of Libyan desert glass. So it looks just like glass. It's a clear color, and this is sand that's been turned into glass by a meteor impact. In the same way as the other Tektites, this is a Tektite as well. And these are really powerful because that is literally combining heaven and earth. The heavens and the earth together, literally. Some other neat crystals that I like to carry around. I have some pocket crystals. This is some ruby and zoisite, and this was also a gift from one of my friends. It's a beautiful rock. I also like to carry around this sodalite Merkaba, and this is in the shape of a Merkaba, and that's a type of meditation where you envision yourself encompassed in counter-rotating light. It's a Merkaba meditation, and this is in the shape of a Merkaba, and it's really good for meditation, for holding in your hands while you're meditating. And this one in particular is made out of sodalite. I also have a couple pieces of rhodochrosite, and these are a really neat pink color, and they have some stripes in them, something like a pink agate, and they're nice to add a little bit of color to my crystal collection. And I also found this stone. This has been etched with the Pisces symbol, and this just sometimes a rock or a crystal will just kind of speak to me. I'll see it sitting there on the shelf. When I saw this one sitting there on the shelf, and it just kind of said, "Take me home with you." And I said, "Okay, well, that's what I'll do." In the case of the crystal skull, this lived at my friend Tessa's house, and the crystal skull actually told her that it wanted to move in with me, and I thought that was just really amazing. So it's really cool that she sent me that. These are some of my very favorite, very powerful. These are called Aqua Aura, and I'll read the little card that came with them. Aqua Aura is a quartz crystal treated in a lab with gold vapor. The gold bonds tightly with the quartz's molecular structure, giving it a beautiful aqua color. The gold is thought to amplify the energy of the crystal, and these are super amazing crystals. I got 2 of them, and these are called singing Aqua Aura, and they make this clinking noise. They make a tone when you click them together, and when you tap them on, see, they make a tone. And whereas normal aqua aura doesn't do that, but these are literally quartz crystals that were put in a heated vacuum chamber with particles of gold, and it turned them blue. Something like in pottery, where you have the different glazes, and the different metals will turn the glazes different colors. This is a really cool piece. This is a piece of optical calcite, and I got this at the Fossil Cartel, and this is amazing. This has been used for hundreds of years for navigation, and basically what you can do is you can scan the horizon with this, or scan the sky with this, and find the sun even on an overcast day where you couldn't see where the sun is with your eyes. You could use this. So basically what happens is when you look at the sun through this, like we're doing here, only in sunlight, not in artificial light or not in candlelight, but in sunlight, this thing just erupts with rainbows. The whole thing is a great big rainbow when you point it exactly in the direction of the sun. So you can practice on a day when the sun's out and point it there and see these really neat rainbows inside. And basically what you do is just scan the horizon on a cloudy day, and you'll be able to find where the sun is in the sky, because even through the clouds, this optical calcite is able to pick up that light and shows that light as a rainbow. And so this is a really, really awesome piece. I'm really fortunate to have that. And my biggest crystal is this guy. It's just huge. I don't even think I could fit it in the video here. Yeah, this is a piece of quartz, a generator crystal. This thing is just massive. This was a gift from my friend Leo David, and he had buried this and, you know, done ritual with this and given me this as a gift. So it's a really, really special part of my crystal collection. One of the really nice things about going to the Fossil Cartel is that they do really nice packaging. So, see, here's one of the boxes that comes with all their crystals. They'll put them in a really nice box, really nice gift box for you, and gift bags and stuff. So then when you open it up, then each crystal, they do a great job. Each crystal comes with its own little explanation sheet. When I was reading about the Aqua Aura, that was the little explanation sheet that had come with it. So this is a piece of sardonyx. It's a black stone, and this is called the shaman stone. And this is a gift for my friend Gary. He has this stick. He calls it shaman stick. So I'm always finding different things for him to put on his stick. So I like to carry these crystals around with me as much as I can. Some of them are a little bit soft, so you have to be kind of careful with that. But it's really great to carry them all like in a bag. Sometimes I'll wrap up individual ones if I feel like they might get scratched or something. And in my backpack, I like to carry sometimes I carry a really small bag, like just in my pocket, and then sometimes I carry a larger bag in my backpack. And I'll often I'll pull out my stones and just pick out one and hang out with that one for the day, keep it in my pocket, and kind of when I do my meditation, I like to put a stone in each hand, and I have a special, magic bag that I keep my crystals in. And so that's my crystal collection, and that's some of the crystal magic that I like to do. I'd love to hear from you guys with your thoughts and ideas. If you want to tell me about what kind of crystal magic you like to do, how you like to do your crystal grids, that'd be really great to hear from you guys. So thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace profound, and L.V.X.